You've just launched this $5 billion tech growth fund for Latin America. What opportunities in the region will you be focusing on?
So thanks for having me. It's always great to be able to put some attention into the Latin American market and more to the venture market in Latin America, which traditionally has been a market that has not received a lot of attention. There are tremendous opportunities in Latin America that are similar to other parts of the world. And where we start is when you look at the size of the market, the Latin American market is twice the size of India, and it's half the amount of China. So it's in the right place, has the right population, has the right technology adoption. So we're looking at tech companies that are growing, that are leveraging data, leveraging artificial intelligence to disrupt traditional business models. And I can tell you that in the first 3 weeks, we're already looking at 140 companies. So this is way above our expectations in the amount of potential investments that we plan to launch in the Latin American region.
Wow, 140 companies in just a few weeks. So the Vision Fund is raising record amounts of capital at a time when dry powder is already at record highs. How does SoftBank stay disciplined and put so much capital to work at the same time?
I think we've been quite disciplined in terms of we had a very clear investment thesis and investment mandate. And we are looking for that company, that number one company, that entrepreneur that has the ability to leverage artificial intelligence, leverage data to disrupt traditional business model to enhance people's lives. Now that's broad in terms of that we believe that because of artificial intelligence, the level of disruption that we're going to live in the next few years is significant, and therefore pretty much every industry is in the midst of disruption. So we choose that winning company that we can put our capital, we can put our growth strategy, we can bring them into our ecosystem and basically help them grow. And I say so far we could not be pleased. In the Vision Fund level, we have over 70 companies that we have invested. They're doing great, and we're applying the exact same logic, the exact same discipline to do the same in Latin America. The Vision Fund traditionally has focused on India, on China, on the US, and now we decided to put some focus into Latin America because of the size of the market and because the same technology trends apply to that region of the world.
So tell us about your day-to-day. How much time will you spend on this Latin American part of your job and your duties as COO of SoftBank Group?
Yeah, so we're pretty well organized within the SoftBank ecosystem. We have a CEO of the Vision Fund, Rajiv, who is in charge of managing the Vision Fund. I run what is called SoftBank Group International, and that is I run most of the operating companies in the group. Those are companies that we have a majority ownership, such as Sprint or ARM or Boston Dynamics or Energy Group. So I run that, and also now I'm launching this new technology fund. So I'll be spending some time in Latin America, but the core of my business is basically running most of the operating companies in the group, as well as being the CEO of the entire group. So we work in a partnership between Masa, Rajiv, Marcelo, and Sago. We are the four leaders in the company, and we basically are able to accommodate our responsibilities accordingly. And we have an amazing group of people throughout the world, of great investors that basically supplement us. So we're busy. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of deals, but at the same time, we're applying the same rigor and discipline to the level of investments that we do.
Now, you've got a big IPO potentially coming up. SoftBank, a huge investor in Uber. What are your expectations for Uber's IPO?
Well, we try not to comment in our companies, in potential, in companies that we have invested in their IPOs. But what we do is, we have a lot of potential IPOs coming in the future due to the fact that we have invested in a lot of tech companies that are growing at an amazing rate. So we're hoping that the investments that we made are going to be translated into great returns for the current investors in our funds and great returns for the new shareholders of those IPOs. I think Uber is a fantastic company. I think Travis did an incredible job in basically disrupting transportation, and I think Dara has done a great job in terms of taking the company to another level. So whenever Uber decides to do an IPO, we're sure that it's going to be a great IPO because it is a great company.
Now, you were reported to be getting one of SoftBank's 2 Uber board seats. What's happening with that?
I mean, it's complicated due to the fact that we invest in so many different companies, and the fact that we're a foreign direct investor. All that is in process through CFIUS and the different government agencies. But to be quite fair, we believe that in many cases, because we're investors in so many different areas, and that's why we've traditionally put other people on board. So there's no hurry for us to join the board. Company is doing great, management is doing great. So, and they already have quite a sizable board.
Okay. Now, SoftBank's also an 80% owner in Sprint. You were the CEO of Sprint for many years. It looks like the T-Mobile Sprint merger is not on track for an easy approval. So are you prepared to make any concessions, maybe offer divestitures of Spectrum or the prepay business to make that happen?
I think it's very early to tell. I mean, we knew that combining the number 3 and number 4 carrier was going to be a battle. We knew it on day one. And the reason why is because these mergers have been attempted in the past. But at the same time, nothing has changed. I mean, we are huge believers that the U.S. needs to have a 5G leader, and the combination of Sprint and T-Mobile will allow the U.S. to have the world's best 5G network because of our complementary spectrum. We have made commitments that we're going to lower prices to the American consumer because this new network is going to have an enormous amount of capacity, and capacity is the main driver of pricing. We make commitments that we're going to increase jobs. We make commitments that we're going to deploy 5G in rural America and pretty much in every corner of America. So we believe we've done our homework, and we are determined to make the right amount of investments in order for this merger to be approved. Now, obviously, there's always going to be rumors, floating pretty much every day. But I believe that the merits of our mergers are so good for America, are so good for consumers, is such an enhancement to the non-competitive market that we have today, that we feel pretty good that this merger should be approved. So at this point in time, I don't think it's the time to start talking about making concessions, because we need in order for us to build the 5G network we plan to build, we are going to need every piece of spectrum. In order for us to have the scale, we're going to need every customer that the combined companies have. So we feel pretty good. Nothing has changed. We've been lucky to be called to Congress 3 times and be able to expose the merit of our merger. And we're having continuous discussions and sending documents to both the FCC and the DOJ. And we believe that if everything is done the right way, there's no reason why this merger shouldn't be approved.